Today, our conversation is going to be with Eric Esoda, and he is the president and CEO of the Northeastern Pennsylvania Industrial Resource Center. Here's our conversation.
I'm Marty Wolff. I've worked with small, mid-size, and billion-dollar companies across America. Through these experiences and being a lifelong learner, reading hundreds of books and interviewing hundreds of the brightest business minds in the world today, I now feel an obligation to share what I learned with you. Get ready to learn from the best. This is the Business Builder Show with Marty Wolff.
Today, you made a presentation titled 2019 Regional Innovation Resource Guide. So what did you talk about this morning?
Well, Marty, what we talked about this morning is actually a derivative topic from our last radio show together, which I appreciated being on, where we talked about the misconception that Northeastern Pennsylvania does not have the innovation and resources that it needs to really move our manufacturing and our entrepreneurial communities forward. And I think we're in agreement that that is a great misunderstanding. And we're going to dispel that myth and dispel that rumor by showing and highlighting the innovation resources that are available. So what we talked about today were the 6 innovation labs that offer our manufacturers, our entrepreneurs, 3D printing, robotics, augmented reality, virtual reality, resources that they can access at a very, very low cost, very, very practical hours to help move their product, their processes, their customer base forward. We also talked about the incubator and the innovation spaces, the collaborative working environments that are available at even more of the facilities throughout Northeastern Pennsylvania. And we gave our business community some tips on how they can access them very easily.
I think you started out this way. You say, you can innovate right here in Northeastern Pennsylvania. We may have this belief in Northeastern Pennsylvania, and maybe in America, Eric, that, especially for the manufacturing side, but let's talk about Northeastern Pennsylvania. The belief that you believe, I believe, and you had some people in your audience today who absolutely believe that we can innovate right here in Northeastern Pennsylvania. Why are we saddled with the belief that we can't? What's happened? Let's keep it in Northeastern Pennsylvania for right now.
That's a good question, and I often ask myself that as well.
Yes, we do, don't we?
I think Northeastern Pennsylvania, because of its geography, falls into what we call the T region of Pennsylvania. When you take a look at what is viewed as the popular innovation hubs, right? You have Pittsburgh out into the southwest, and you have the greater Philadelphia out into the southeast. And you do have Penn State in the mix, and they certainly shouldn't be discounted in the center part of the state. But for the most part, you did have this T region of Pennsylvania.
T region?
Yeah, the letter T.
Okay,
so
got it. All right.
You kind of take out the 2 corners, and you have what we call the T region. And they say, well, there's really not the innovative resources there, the research universities there. And I think that kind of sinks in if you say it enough, even when it's wrong, right? You keep on saying the same thing enough, everybody's going to start to believe it. Right. But when you take a look at what the resources that we really have here, and you look at the medical college, and you look at Wilkes University, you look at the Penn State campuses that we do have in the area, the architectural resources at Marywood University, the biomedical resources at the University of Scranton. Stack onto that the innovation and the incubation spaces, whether they be hosted by the Greater Scranton Chamber of Commerce and Ignite, the Scranton Plan, whether they receive support from Ben Franklin Technology Partners, whether they're part of the IRC network and our own innovation space at NEPIRC, and then the individual stand-up startups, right? Your Storebridge project, your launch boxes. You take a look at the lab, the KC3D Center. Take a look at these resources. So while we stack up with any region in Pennsylvania, and I would dare say any region in the country in terms of the innovation resources we bring to the table for businesses that are here or are thinking about situating here in Northeastern Pennsylvania.
You started to take me where I wanted to go. It sounded like you were just giving me a commercial or a pitch, if you will, if I am in the Midwest and I'm considering this region. So maybe go a little deeper on, I am that manufacturer in the Midwest, and kind of review or go a little deeper on some of the resources that you just mentioned. How would you pitch me coming to Northeastern Pennsylvania? What would that look like?
That's interesting, because if we go with the very common answers, right? Oh, we have a great workforce, we have a great work ethic, and low cost of living and things like that. In our dialogue in the office, we say, well, that's like a restaurant saying, well, I offer you salt and pepper and I'll give you silverware as well. Because every other region in the country is going to say that.
Sure.
When you take a look at what we really have, and this goes a little bit away from just talking about innovation, it's the proximity to major markets with an infrastructure that can get you there.
Right.
You take a look at the buying population, the customer base that's within a certain radius of Northeastern Pennsylvania. We're right there. You want to get to Baltimore, Washington, D.C., you want to get into the New York and New Jersey areas, well, we can get you there with the infrastructure that we have. That's an undebatable topic, right?
Correct.
And that's indisputable.
Correct.
But one thing that just came out was the diversity of our economy. When you take a look at some of the other areas of the country, they can say, well, we are the aerospace hub, right? We have right out west, we specialize in aerospace. Down south, we specialize in aerospace. In the heartland and in the Great Lakes region, we specialize in automotive. And that's great because they have these very well built out supply chains, and that those industries do to some extent thrive in those regions. We have a diverse marketplace here in Northeastern Pennsylvania when it comes to manufacturing. And what that means is not only that I could likely find suppliers that I need to manufacture my product, but I could also find out the packaging, right, the transportation, the engineering, the environmental. I could find all the resources that I need because we are so diverse. So it's a matter of when you go to a restaurant and you say, this is the meal that I want to have, you're going to go to a specialized restaurant that has just that meal. But when you're a business and you need flexibility and you need a supply chain and you need logistics and you need IT support and you need all kinds of help around your facility, whether it be waste removal as well as environmental. Now you need the buffet. You don't want to go just for a restaurant that has just one forte and not much else. We are that diverse that we can attract companies based on the value of that diversity.
Sign me up. You convinced me. So let's go broader now, Eric. You read that things are happening primarily on the East Coast and the West Coast. When you read books, you listen to podcasts, you do all that kind of say, well, young people are going to these areas because that's where the intellectual capital is, that's where all the action is, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure it's true to a point. I'm sure it's true. Let's look at it from a manufacturing standpoint. So what would we tell? Let's go with younger people. You know, is like I think of the rise of arrest that Case is doing. Is it Case? I'm trying to think of his first name. But he has the rise of the rest, saying, there's a lot going on in the other parts of the country. So talk to me about that. I mean, in terms of manufacturing. Is manufacturing healthy in America? Talk to me a little bit there.
I think I feel more comfortable in addressing manufacturing in Pennsylvania than at the national level, just because that's so dynamic and that's a meeting in and of itself. When you take a look at what's happening in Pennsylvania, our per employee productivity is outpacing the national average by far. So our manufacturers are getting more productive with the resources they have by embracing innovation.
Right.
And they are becoming more efficient, more effective. They're hitting scale at a superior rate to the nation, which is allowing their employees to put out more product, which is ultimately going to market and fueling the growth of our manufacturing sector. When you take a look at, well, what are we going to say to those younger generation or the next generation of workers? Now you're talking about not only the innovation that's happening in manufacturing, but you're also talking about the quality of space and the quality of life that we have in Northeastern Pennsylvania.
Very much.
And again, talking more about community. So you're talking about the proximity you have to some of the attractions. You've been talking about the great outdoors. You're talking about the walkable communities. You're talking about the art and the diversity again comes up in that discussion. So it's not just about innovation in the companies, although we're seeing that.
Sure.
We're seeing that to a great extent.
It's a whole quality of life issue around all of that.
Quality of life, as well as our manufacturers and our businesses adapting to your needs. Are they putting in the resources at work that you want to see? Are they themselves high-tech? Are they recognizing the millennials in the right way? Are they putting in the right benefits plans? And I'm not talking about your HMO and all that. I'm talking about the gym memberships. I'm talking about the social interaction.
Things that matter to that age group.
Things that matter to them, and we are seeing our manufacturers become more innovative, not in the sense that we're talking about today only, right? Through robotics, automation, 3D printing, augmented and virtual reality. That innovation is happening, but they're becoming more innovative in the way they're approaching their workforce as well.
What role is education playing in your work? What do you see? What kind of partnerships are occurring in terms of education?
I think the partnerships we're seeing with education are in two different ways.
Okay.
First, at the early levels, so we're talking about the 7th and 8th grade levels, they're starting to make students and our younger generation more aware of those STEM jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. I think, okay, let's talk about the What's So Cool About Manufacturing program. Let's talk about the Dream Team speakers that come in to talk to you about STEM careers. So we're seeing them kind of get involved in the 7th and 8th grade level, and they're saying, well, now they're in high school. Let's talk about internships and apprenticeships. Now let's talk about job shadowing and job mentoring, so that students can really see the opportunities that exist in advanced manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, what we're seeing in terms of schools is now they're definitely embracing the placement of student teams. And this is happening at Wilkes University, this is happening at Penn State, this is happening at Lackawanna College, Missouri County Community College, and Johnson College, placing teams of students in real life, real world experiences within our manufacturers to help them solve challenges, right? Modernize their product and their processes. And it's in that experience they're saying, hey, wait a second. I didn't know you did that here. I like doing that. I didn't know that job opportunity existed.
Yeah, let me
What's
jump
my
in.
future here?
Yeah, so that's perfect, because we both know that there's going to be new jobs that we never even thought of 5-10 years down the road, right? So the educational system and what you just described is actually preparing students to think, to problem solve. Is that happening here? Are you seeing that? And would you agree with that?
I do very much agree with that. In fact, one of the things we touched upon in my breakout session was don't underestimate the value that student teams bring to your manufacturing environment, because they break that groupthink that happens even within the best companies.
Absolutely.
Right? They don't bring that history of with, oh, we tried that and it kind of didn't work, or well, that's always the way we've done things. And that permeates in every company, even if you're very modern and forward thinking.
Absolutely.
They bring a whole new perspective to the manufacturer, and they are fearless in what they will try. And when you see that youngster, and I'm talking, kids, and they're punching buttons and saying, what does this do on the tablet device, or how do I play this game? They're fearless. They just try things, and they bring that to the work environment.
And so hopefully, at least the companies that you're taking these teams to, that they're experiencing this, the companies themselves need to have the culture to be open to that, right?
Yes.
You can't have a young Turk come in and say, you're doing this all wrong. They may not accept that. So the companies that the teams are operating, they have the culture to learn and to take on new ideas. You should have said it earlier. I'm speaking with Eric Esoda, and he is the president and CEO of the Northeastern Pennsylvania Industrial Resource Center, and he did a presentation today at the Tech Bridge Innovation Conference, which again is being held in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So, what keeps you up at night? What do you worry about in your role as president and CEO of the Northeastern Pennsylvania Industrial Resource Center? It could be locally, regionally, nationally. What concerns do you have that you want to share with all of us? Making them think.
Yeah, because I was about to say that there are the things that keep me up at night are not concerns, but are the energy and enthusiasm that I have for what the Northeastern Pennsylvania Industrial Resource Center does, what we see our clients doing, and what we see happening in Northeastern Pennsylvania. So when I'm up at night and I'll say, oh, we didn't sleep all that well, the family will say, well, what's the matter? What's keeping you up? And it's not so much worry as much as a healthy anxiety about the future and energy and enthusiasm to get the job done. If I had to pick a worry, if you will, I would say that it is still that we do not respect and understand the value and the importance of manufacturing to our economy, and that we still carry to some extent that older version of manufacturing that is not necessarily reflective of the industries that we have here today and what they are doing and how they're treating their employees and their customers, their environment, and what products that they're making.
That's a real strong point. Matter of fact, we had a robot serving us coffee yesterday, right?
Yes.
And young people around that whole environment there. Yeah, that's a national issue, I guess. And that goes back to education too, Eric, right? Is that and parenting. This is one of our favorite topics. I know we talk about this frequently. These jobs are great opportunities in manufacturing today, and it's not the dirty, greasy kind of thing that it used to be. You need to be data scientists, all kinds of exciting opportunities, correct?
Yes. You need to be a problem solver, a good communicator. You need to be fast reacting and quick reacting to challenges that may occur, but also you're empowered to make the improvements and the changes that you need to solve those challenges and problems. And that's what I think the younger generation really doesn't understand, is that these are empowering, well-paid jobs where you are respected for what you bring to the table and not expected to just do the same thing day in and day out. Tell me how you want to change it, how you want to improve it. What's your idea?
Excellent.
What should the product look like? What should the process look like?
Excellent.
What's a new way we can leverage social media to attract more customers, regardless of your position within the organization? And when you bring that skill to a manufacturing environment, you'll find them to be very receptive and rewarding of the way that you're thinking. And I think our younger generation needs to see more of that.
And you've done a good job of sharing that information that we're going to share nationally and all over the world. We've talked about Northeastern Pennsylvania with Eric Esoda. You got me. I love the work that you do. I love manufacturing. It's a core and should continue to be a core of our region and our national presence, and I'd like to see that continue. You're doing your part, so thank you so much. You have been listening to the Business Builder Show. I'm your host, Marty Wolff. My guest again has been Eric Esoda, President and CEO of NEPIRC. What's the website for you, Eric?
It's www.nepirc.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bringing the business classroom to you. It's the Business Builder Show with Marty Wolff.